Over 86% of you are not subscribed, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell and set it to all, because if you don't, you won't get notified for all of my videos. We're trying to hit 600 subscribers so we can move on to the next Pretty Kill Let's Play. So without further ado, let's try to make this happen. So my first impressions with the Neptunia anime were really good, as this was the starting point of my Neptunia journey. But after rewatching it for a third time for this review, all I can say is that it's pretty decent, but hopefully things will pick up today. Gokigen yo everyone, the Starlight Let's Player is here, and welcome back to part 3 of the Hyperdimension Neptunia anime review. Now the last episode we left off is where the CPUs got captured by R4 and her horde of monsters. Now it's up to Iffy, Kampa, and the CPU candidates to save them, but will they have what it takes to do so? Let's find out. With Neptune and the others being held captive and having their powers being drained, Iffy and Nepgear decided to retreat so they can come up with a plan to save them. Iffy insists that Histoire should find any information on the anti-crystals. Nepgear then confessed that the object that she picked up was an anti-crystal, and then
I wish they'd capture you instead, cause no one would miss you!
well, goddamn, shit really got heated there. So meanwhile, at the waste disposal, not only are the CPUs still being held captive, but to make things even worse, beneath them is a pool of dark liquid inside the anti-crystal prism. Uni apologizes to Nepgear for what she said, and as the sun rises, Ram and Ram insist that they should train to get stronger and find a way to obtain their CPU forms. So they decided to use Vert's virtual reality game to train, and
Look who I found!
okay, who the hell invited Abnus?
Now, girls, leap into my arms!
Okay, never mind, she can stay. As the CPU candidates were having fun training, Iffy finds out that if the citizens see the images of Neptune and company captured, then all the shares in game industry will drop down. So Nepgear and company decided to head to the waste disposal to save their sisters. They arrived in time and would fight against the monsters, but it was starting to get overwhelming. Fortunately, Nepgear finally faced her fear and transformed into Purple Sister.
No matter what, I mustn't retreat! No looking back! I have to keep going!
With all the monsters defeated, Purple Sister and company head over to confront R4. After telling them about her plans of world domination, R4 transforms into a form that resembles a CPU. Okay, what the hell? Why does she look exactly like a CPU? But more importantly, why exactly does she look like CFW Magic from Hyperdimension Neptunia Mark II? Seeing Purple Heart getting knocked around, Ramen ran with the next ones to transform into White Sister. And as the three of them try to fight against R4, Uni is the last one to transform, becoming Black Sister in the process. While they face off against R4, the dark liquid intenses to pull Neptune and company, and while Kampa tries to distract Rorchu, Histoire tells the four that the sheer energy can be converted into anti-energy by the power of the anti-crystals, which can be able to take a CPU's life. Kinda similar to the sword Gaia Burn, which is able to take a CPU's life in order to become stronger. So Neptune, Vert, Noir, and Blonde are all starting to become repressed by the anti-energy, but despite that, they still refuse to lose hope. Just when Purple Sister was about to get killed by R4, she saw a light coming from the prism and was able to block R4's attack. With the combined powers of the CPU candidates, they were able to negate all of R4's anti-energy, weakening her in the process. Black Sister and the White Sisters were able to knock back R4 with Purple Heart finishing her off, saving their sisters in the process. The sisters were finally reunited, with Warchu escaping with an injured R4 into an underground tunnel. They managed to bring back the shares they lost, with Vert revealing her new motion control system that is so not a reference to the Kinect sensor. Blonde is selling her new pork buns called Blonde Manju. Noir and Uni are hunting monsters together, and Neptune, Nepgear, Ify, and Compa were enjoying their picnic, but suddenly Peachy appears and recognizes Ify and Compa. Someone ends up spying on Noir, seeing her stripped from her monitor. Being fed up with Neptune neglecting her, Peachy rips off the power cord to Neptune's console in half and...
So, are you comfy? You can take a nap right here.
Wow, Vert. I just might.
Vert and Nepgear are having a sisterly-like moment, but we're interrupted by Neptune. She then finds out that Blonde called her here, and Blonde tells Noir that one of her surveillance systems from the station's servers were hacked and...
Can we get much higher? So
Hey guys, nothing weird here.
Just had to bring that little gag back from Victory, didn't you, huh? Anyway, Peachy introduces herself to the other CPUs and begins to play with Ram and Ram. And while the big sisters are out, Uni asks for Nepgear's help to find out what's going on with Noir. Neptune clowns on Noir for getting hacked, and we're introduced to the most blandest character in the anime, and only the anime because she doesn't make an appearance in the Neptunia games. Uni and Nepgear notice that there's a hidden camera in Noir's room, so that's when they decided to track the hacker's location, and they notice that their big sisters are flying straight to where they're headed. And what a surprise, they actually found the hacker's secret base and...
Don't you move an inch! Fess up! You're the hacker now, aren't you?
oh, don't talk like we're strangers, sister. Just call me Annie, okay, girlfriend?
What? A flaming robot? But you look so manly!
My Metal Gear may be Solid Snake, but my heart is as maidenly as they come.
Ananideath makes his return from Victory as well. And I just did part 3 of Happiness Charge review a few months ago talking about Madame Mormure. And now we're at Ananideath in this anime. How is it that the queer characters can be far more entertaining than some of the other characters in these video games and anime?
Oh, check it out!
Upon inspection, they're cosplay photos. So that was a Four Goddesses Online costume. That's why I recognized it.
Oh my god. Look, I love Aaron Fitzgerald as the voice of Noir, but this scream is way overhyped by the community. So Noir transforms into Blackheart and was about to attack Ananideath, but he managed to outsmart them, making his escape only to be attacked by Peachy. Finding out that he was the one who was spying on Noir, Uni transforms into Black Sister and was about to blow his head off. Blackheart was able to catch up to him, and afterwards, Ananideath was arrested and was sent to La Station's prison. Noir and Uni were having their sisterly moment and...
Can we get much higher? So
Uh-oh, that sounds like bad news! Nep wiggity what? Oh.
Plutia also makes her return from Victory, pulling a Neptune there. I think episodes 3 through 5 having the same vibe as Mark II was quite the enjoyable ride. I like the first game, but Mark II is my second favorite out of the 4 main titles, and I really get that feeling when watching the Mark II arc. And again, they did include Mark II's ending theme into it as well. The only problem that I have with it is how they handled the HDD transformations for the CPU candidates. It's been a staple to the Neptunia games that when a new goddess is born, they automatically have the ability to go HDD. Hell, I'll give credit to Rebirth 1 seeing that CPU candidates are born from all the shares that the original CPU of said nation has collected. But in this anime, they have to face their fears in order to achieve their goddess forms. And while I do understand them doing something different here, this is not the kind of different I can rock with, but that's just me though. Now in the video games, Sandy Fox is the voice of Peachy, but in the anime, Tia Ballard plays the role. And episode 6 was really comical. I do like how the episode is based on the scene in Victory, where Neptune, Nepgear, Noir, and Plutia run into Anani Death, but this time the 4 main CPUs run into them. There were also like 2 references in that anime, like Uni's pet being based off of Crash Bandicoot, and Anani Death making a Metal Gear Solid reference. Now overall, these 3 episodes were pretty good, especially the Mark II arc. But now we're getting into my favorite episode of all time, so join us in part 4 as we're headed into another Hyperdimension Neptunia victory callback. But until then, this is the Starlight Let's Player signing out. As always, Goki Genyo and have a star-tastic day, everyone.
I knew I would fulfill my dream, yeah. They knew I started from the bottom, now I made it, yeah. The possibilities are endless, yeah, I say, yeah. I got the roots and I got everything I need, yeah. And now I'm chilling with a pretty gentle lady, yeah. She got a kind and gentle personality, yeah. She got them curvy hips and a booty for booty.